Hello folks, so I'm just making this video to support you in the large data set that you might have noticed on the assignments page. So if you go to single second years and the assignments option and scroll down, you hopefully have heard or you know about this extra investigation we've asked you to do, ready for the week commencing the 18th of November. If you click on here, it comes up with this big PDF document that's got instructions on the investigation. Really good instructions, they're very thorough, but depending on how much experience of Excel you've got and GeoGebra, you might find this video, or in fact these videos, useful to support you in having a go. So the first bit just introduces what the aims of the investigation are, and then it gives you a bit of background for the data itself. We're actually going to start down here where it says the data, and you're asked to open the workbook. So to find the actual large data set, you go back to the main maths page on the VLE and scroll down, and you will eventually find this large data set spreadsheet here. And if you click on that and download, it will download as an Excel spreadsheet. And this is the front page of it here. Do make sure that you're having a go at this in proper Excel software rather than any online version, otherwise the instructions won't work nearly as well. So the first few parts of the investigation, the first few questions, are just based on this first information worksheet, and it asks you to read the information in cell A16. So you can simply scroll down till you get to cell A16, which is this one, and use that to answer these first few questions. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you can kind of have a go at that yourself. That's maths knowledge that you need. And we're going to move down to this bit here where it says select the worksheet Heathrow May to October 2015. Note the 2015 here. It's very important, because if you go back to the data sheet, along the bottom you'll see lots and lots of different tabs for different locations, so Camborne, Heathrow, Herne, but also different dates, and you might be tempted to take this one, Heathrow May to October 87, but that's not what we've been asked for. We were asked for 2015. So if you go to the right hand end of the tabs, you might have a few dots there, which suggests there's extra tabs. If you click on those dots, you might have to do it a couple of times. Eventually you will find Heathrow to May 2015, May to October. Okay, and this is what the data sheet looks like. You can see it is a very large set of data. It's the large data set, and really what you want to start doing is seeing how to work with this large data set and a little bit about what the data is about itself. So the first thing it asks you to do is copy this data into a new workbook. I think it asks you, or it suggests using the Office button to get a blank workbook. I tend to just go to this File button here and New, and then go to the blank workbook here, and that will give you this brand new workbook. We want to copy the data in, so to select all of this data, the easiest way is to go to this little triangle there is to the left of the A and to the above the 1 up here. Click on that and it selects all the data in that workbook. Then you can either right click and copy, or just Control-C to copy all of that data, and we're going to paste it into our new workbook. So just click in cell A1 and paste. Okay, if you ever get any of these hashes, it just means that the column is not wide enough, so I'm just going to simply stretch that one out, make it a bit wider so that we can see the data. You can see this one here, also the second bracket there has gone down, so I might stretch that one out as well, but you can neaten those up a bit if you want. It then talks about the problem of having this information up here. So Excel does accept a single row of sort of column headings, but this is all extra stuff which is going to cause problems. It's actually information on the location, so the location Heathrow, but it's not part of the data set we're interested in at the moment, so we want to get rid of that. Easiest way is just to select those 5 rows 1 to 5 by using the numbers on the right and scrolling down, and then we can just right click and delete those, and they just vanish. Okay. So it then suggests renaming this workbook. So you can see down here the tab is at the moment just called Sheet 1. We're going to give it a more appropriate name. So this is Heathrow 2015, this data. So I'm just going to call it that. Okay. And then the next bit we're asked to do, so let's just go back and check what we've done. So we've opened our new workbook, we've renamed it, and we've deleted those first 5 rows. Here there at number 5 it says, are there any missing values? So we're going to look at a couple of ways to look for missing values. The first one is using this count blank function. So if we go back to our data set, where are we? This one here. Okay, so it suggests in cell P2, because that one's blank, we can type equals count, and once we've done that, it comes up with different count functions. So double click on count blank, because that's what we're trying to do, and then you can see it asks you for the range. So we just basically want to choose all of the data. We can't just choose all the columns because it will count all of the blank cells beneath our data, so we actually have to hold the mouse button down and select all the cells that we want. So I think it says we need to go down to 0185, so we've got to go down a long way. It is a large data set. But once we've selected it all, it will very quickly tell us whether there are any blanks. So I've now highlighted all the appropriate cells. I just press enter, and if you go back up to cell P2, you can see it says 0. It tells us there's no cells in that entire workbook that are completely blank. But as it says in the instructions, it could be that there are some data that are not blank, but they are not available, so it has NA written in them. So to check that, you could sort the data. So I'm just going to have a look at daily mean temperature in column B, and we're just going to see whether there's any blanks in that. So I'm going to select all of the data sheet. I can just select the columns this time along the top because it doesn't matter about the blanks at the bottom. I want to sort it, and I'm going to sort it according to the daily mean temperature. So I go to data, I choose sort. The data has got this, what we call a header row, alright, so the column headings. So I definitely need to make sure that that one is ticked. It does have header rows. Once that is ticked and you choose the column to sort by, it actually uses the headings. So I'm just going to sort by daily mean temperature. I could do its numbers, I could do smallest to largest or largest to smallest. I'm going to keep it as smallest to largest. If I click OK, it has now reordered all of the data, and you can see that the lowest temperature there in column B was 8 degrees centigrade, and I could scroll right down to the bottom and it goes up to 28.7. That's the highest temperature. But note there were no NAs in that column. They would come out at the top or the bottom, and there haven't been any. So it tells us that all the data is available for that column. Obviously you could sort by other columns to check on other data. Okay, it does suggest saving your work, so do save your work as you go along, because it just means if you make a mistake, then you can go back to an earlier saved version. So we're now let's just go back to the actual investigation again. So we've done this sorting. Are there any missing values? Well, you can check for that, and you can have a go at those questions here. We're now going to go down to this bit where it says sort the data according to the variable cardinal direction for daily maximum gust in column O. Alright, so we want to sort our data using column O. So if I go back to our data, here's our data. I'm going to make sure I have selected all of those rows. I go to sort, I still have header rows. This time we want cardinal direction. Be a bit careful because there's cardinal direction in column M and in O. We were asked to do O, which is the second one here. So make sure you get the right cardinal direction column. And I'm going to keep it as A to Z, and I click OK, and now you can see in column O it's started with the easterlies, then it goes to east, northeast, and so on. Alright, so it's got all the different cardinal directions there. And what we're asked to do is basically select the north, northeast, and northwest options and copy them into a new workbook. So first thing I'm going to do is add a new workbook. So if I click on here, I get sheet 2, and it asks you to do sheet 2 and sheet 3. So let's open another one. We want to copy the header row into those two workbooks. So I'm just going to select row 1 by clicking on the 1 here, copy and paste that into A1 on sheet 2, and then the same in sheet 3. Okay. And then we're asked to select all of the rows that have got, well, let's just go back and look at it with you. So copy and paste the rows for cardinal directions north, northwest, north, and northeast, and we're going to put them in sheet 2. It suggests which rows you need here, but I'm not sure they're completely correct. I would simply just look at the cardinal direction itself and just make sure you choose these 3. Notice that we don't want northeast or northwest, it's just these 3. So if we go back to our data, here we've got the easterlies. If I scroll down, you can see when I get to cell 30, there we've got northerlies, and that goes down, it looks like, to row 37. So I'm going to select rows 30 to 37, copy them, and I'm going to paste them into sheet 2. Okay. Again, you've got some hashes here, so you can just increase the size of that column so that the dates show up. We don't want northeasts, but we do want northeasts, and if we keep looking down, you'll see they're followed by northwests. So we want to select all of row 43, and it looks like it goes down to 57. Okay, so copy all of that and again paste it in sheet 2 just underneath the other data. So now we've just got all of the north and northeast and northwest cardinal directions in one sheet. Okay, and I think it suggests that you relabel this north. Okay. It then asks you to do exactly the same for the south, southwest and southeast directions. So if you go back to the original Heathrow data and scroll down, you've got south there, you've got southeast, southwest, and you do exactly the same, putting those into sheet 3 and renaming that south. So I'll leave you to have a go at that. You do it in exactly the same way as we did for north. And that's it for this first part of the investigation. It then moves on to investigation 1A, which uses a bit of GeoGebra, so I'll do another video for that. Hope that helped. Thanks very much.